Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Ming Yang Ran titled Say No to War. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen. It's a single, it's got Say No to War, as well as Silver Forever. Now I should note that I've previously reviewed music from Ming Yang Ran before. We have checked out the album Direct C, which was phenomenal. Got the art up on the screen here for this new track, or new single, and we're going to listen through it from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, Say No to War. Really interesting tone to it. Topical. It's crazy to be living in this timeline, isn't it? Nice use of the blues scale there. Great transition to a guitar solo here. Wasn't expecting a few key changes here. Could use a double tracking though. Double timing of the bells? I mean, it's interesting to have these double guitar leads here on either side, asymmetrical like that. I think it really encapsulates and describes the passion, but also the chaos that is being inflicted in these situations. Really impressed with this track. We're going to talk about it more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Ming Yang Ran, titled Say No to War. So, what do we think this track is about? I think this track is about war in general, but also concerning Russia and Ukraine, as well as, Gaza and Israel, and all the horrific stuff that is just going on at the moment, and especially how it is affecting people. They talk about this war is breaking her home from Ukraine to Israel. This war is breaking my heart, but it never saves her soul. And I think that's an interesting thing as well. People comment on how it affects them from afar. Their heart is broken because of what's occurring there, but then it's and Eve saying that will not save their soul. So it's about saying no to war, just like no, all blessings and prayers is fine, but we need to actually stop this from happening. We need to say no. We need to say we're not okay with it, that we're uncomfortable with it, and we need them to stop. So I feel like this is communicated really well throughout this piece, bluntly. One of the things that helps this to be communicated really well is Ming Yang Ran on the mic. I think that they sang really well. They're very comfortable in their hidden jest voice, had a very kind of rocky kind of persona, attitude, and feel to it. Very heartfelt. Interesting use of major and minor scales, plus occasional chromatics and bluesy inferences. Very rock and roll as well. Kind of give me almost like a David Bowie kind of feel to it with the way we communicated, as well as the studio production, which we'll talk about a bit later on. I like that as well. But especially the way we call out at the end of the track, how boisterous it is in the best possible way. We're really calling out, saying no to war. We're repeating that. We're really kind of getting that to sink in. We're crying out for that. We really want people to be that message that is taken home. Saying no to war. The hook line is the most important part here. It is repeated to effect, and I just think it's great structurally to have the vocals as that main lead point, as well as all the lead guitar takes and everything else going on the sides. But it's just a fantastic build to that. Especially with the intensity of the subject matter. And the fact that we managed to go through those different key changes is fantastic as well, especially near the end. We had like a couple of different key changes. They're kind of building up and up and up, and I thought that was really well done. I think the second thing I want to talk about is the studio production, primarily because as I understand it, as far as I've been told, the song was recorded entirely on an 8-track tape recorder. So the double-tracked vocals were recorded twice together with the guitars to make the most of limited tracks. It is the real cassette sound. It absolutely is. So if it's a very kind of old school vintage recording, because I think it's part of the format, the way that it was recorded, to be able to get this song to carry like that in that situation is a lot more difficult than it would be with modern production techniques. And I have to commend everyone involved for getting this track to where it is for that. I'm really pleased that we went for that kind of timeless, effervescent sort of 60s and 70s feel with it, because I think that a lot of the stories that were told then are just as relevant and meaningful now. There were a lot of movements in those decades against war, and I think that they need to continue now if they're not. And it just sucks. War sucks. To have biggest understatement, but I just think the actual style of production there was great. It was very appropriate for what we're talking about there. I think it's something that'll appeal to. It makes it a bit more kind of like raw and gritty and authentic as well. It sounds more like a live performance, and I appreciate that. And the fact that they managed to get it sounding that clean despite the form factor, is fantastic as well. So well done on that front. But I think it's also, as a final note, the coloration of the instruments and how they're kind of interspersed through it. We have a drum beat, which is fundamental. You have the kicks and snares and some fills occasionally. A build up of like the bells at like the outro part there as things escalate. And I think that they build up at a really appropriate time, because you've got the guitar leads that kind of flicker and bend about on the sides of the stereo field. The bluesy pentatonic phrasings there were great. And I think the note choices there, sort of more concerned with the minor orient there, are great, because clearly it's not a happy situation, but it's not too edgy either. It's still trying to be catchy, quote unquote, whilst also having a sense of heaviness to it. There's this kind of scratchy rhythm tone, which adds a bit of kind of noise to it in the best possible way with the power chords and some bar chords there. I think if you'd gone further with distortion there, it might have been a bit distracting, but I feel like that was just the right amount for that bit of crispiness in the rhythm parts. The bass nice and thick and full, and the low end there. Ultimately, a very kind of tightly produced and recorded track there with a very organic performance that I think stands out. I think, it's just the way that the instruments bend off each other, like the asymmetrical guitar leads at the end there, how they kind of pop off one after the other. They're going different directions there, almost like the music is writhing in your headphones so that you don't forget it. structurally sound. I think this is a really solid effort. I'm thankful that I had a chance to listen through it. So I think effectively it's the vocals, the studio production, as well as the way the instruments performed and the parts that were written. So I feel ultimately it's great to listen to more of Ming Yang Ran's music. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I feel like that it's an important message at this point in time. So thank you for watching. And just there's no constructive critique for this one. I'm just really happy with what was carried across. I think any further polish or anything like that might have been sort of like detrimental to the experience there. I feel like it's perfect just as it is. And thank you for watching my review of this track from an act named Ming Yang Ran titled Say No to War, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show them some love via their various social medias and Spotify page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.